Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to evening devotion. Before we start, and I put this on the community tab, also a pinned comment in yesterday's morning devotion. Sister Rhonda has asked for prayer, and I didn't see it until hours and hours and hours later. She's in the hospital, and she got some pretty serious issues. Said she was septic. I posted that comment. Lift her up in prayer and intercede on her behalf, that the Lord will heal her and will comfort her and will make her strong, get her out of there and get her back home, where she feels safe and comfortable. What? I'm trying to film a video. What are you sitting there whining at me for? What? We want? I'll see. He just stares into your soul. I want something from you. I know what he wants, but yeah, keep her in prayer, guys. She's struggling evidently, and I hope she saw the post, and I hope she hears the prayers and everything. Let me let these guys out here on the back porch. All right. Go ahead and go out there. I let it open for you. Tonight, we're going to read out of Judges 15:18. He was sore athirst and called on the Lord and said, Thou hast given this great deliverance into the hand of thy servant, and now I shall die, or now shall I die for thirst, basically. Then he became very thirsty, so he cried out to the Lord and said, You have given this great deliverance by the hand of your servant, and now shall I die of thirst and fall into the hand of the uncircumcised? All this happened, and now I'm going to die of thirst. So let's go up here. This is Samson. Starting in verse 13. So they spoke to him, saying, No, but we will tie you securely and deliver you into their hand, but we will surely not kill you. And they bound him with 2 new ropes and brought him up from the rock. When he came to Lehi, the Philistines came shouting against him. Then the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and the ropes that were on his arms became like flax that is burned with fire, and his bonds broke loose from his hand. So basically they kind of like turned to ash. He found a fresh jawbone of a donkey, reached out his hand and took it, and killed 1,000 men with it. This is a feat right there. Then Samson said, With the jawbone of a donkey, heaps upon heaps, with the jawbone of a donkey, I have slain 1,000 men. And so it was, when he had finished speaking, that he threw the jawbone from his hand and called that place Ramath Lehi. Then he became very thirsty, so he cried out to the Lord and said, You have given this great deliverance by the hand of your servant, and now shall I die of thirst and fall into the hand of the uncircumcised? So God split the hollow place that is in Lehi, and water came out, and he drank, and his spirit returned, and he revived. Therefore he called its name En-Hakkore, which is in Lehi to this day. Now, I don't know if we can look that up and see where that is, but you might be able to Google that. And he judged Israel 20 years in the days of the Philistines. I'm curious. You guys can't see this. I'm just real quick. Is it in Israel, I guess? Oof. Okay, well, that's a lot of weird stuff. There is a Lehi Freedom Fighters. I might look that up later. We're going to focus on the devotion. Samson was thirsty and ready to die. The difficulty was totally different from any which the hero had met before. Merely to get thirst assuaged is nothing like so great a matter as to be delivered from 1,000 Philistines. Oh, these dogs. We'll go. Wish you guys had quit. Let me finish this video. But when the thirst was upon him, Samson felt that little present difficulty more weighty than the great past difficulty, out of which he had so especially been delivered. So he did all that with the jawbone of a donkey, and yet the being thirsty was greater and more powerful sway over him. It is very unusual for God's people, when they have enjoyed a great deliverance, to find a little trouble too much for them. It is very usual for God's people, when they have enjoyed a great deliverance, to find a little trouble too much for them. Samson slays 1,000 Philistines and piles them up in heaps, and then faints for a little water. Jacob wrestles with God at Peniel and overcomes omnipotence itself, and then goes halting on his thigh. Strange that there must be a shrinking of the sinew whenever we win the day. You know what that is? You know why that is? It's to keep us humble. As if the Lord must teach us our littleness, our nothingness, in order to keep us within bounds. Samson boasted right loudly when he said, "I have slain 1,000 men." His boastful throat soon grew hoarse with thirst, and he betook himself to prayer. God has many ways of humbling his people. Dear child of God, if after great mercy you are laid very low, your case is not an unusual one. When David had mounted the throne of Israel, he said, "I am this day weak, though anointed king." You must expect to feel weakest when you are enjoying your greatest triumph. If God has wrought for you great deliverances in the past, your present difficulty is only like Samson's thirst, and the Lord will not let you faint, nor suffer the daughter of the uncircumcised to triumph over you. The road of sorrow is the road to heaven. A lot of people don't understand that. The Bible makes it clear. You're going to be a Christian, you're going to have a troubled life. It is what it is. But this is the way it is. The road of sorrow is the road to heaven. But there are wells of refreshing water all along the route. So tried, brother, cheer your heart with Samson's words, and rest assured that God will deliver you ere long. So, wish these dogs would be quiet. So, Rhonda, I hope you're watching. I think this is for you. And not just for you, but I think this is for the rest of us who may be struggling, who may be going through some issues, who may be dealing with some things, who may have had a great deliverance, and this could be on a large scale. Like, my past life has been forgiven because of the things I'm doing. My future will be forgiven, and my right now is forgiven. But then a little thing brings us down and wears us down. I've done some incredible feats of strength, physical strength. I still have a lot of that strength. I don't have the stamina no more. So, it's barking at the neighbor's dog. And we'll just close that, dampen that down a little bit. So, there is this humbling that comes with the blessing of the Lord. So when a great blessing comes, he humbles us and reminds us that we're still his, that it was him that did it, and so that way we don't take the credit, that if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have even had that in the first place. And we need that reminder because of how we are as humans. We need that constant reminder and humbleness and humility to keep us on the straight and narrow path. To remember that we are nothing. We're dust and clay. With his life breathed into us. We didn't come to exist on our own. We can't do anything on our own without him. And so we need those constant reminders. And a lot of times that reminder comes in health. So Ron, I think this may be to you. And again, to all of us. I think almost all of us suffer with some kind of health issue. I think that's by design. Again, take a look at the cross. Where would the pain be on a person that was hanging on a cross? And then look at where your pain is. Tell me you don't see some connections there, some similarities. I think it's by design. And so we live this life with these things and endure these things. We endure them faithfully. And we grow. We develop. We learn humility. We learn not to brag or boast, but instead to boast in the Lord. Because we all have pride. Pride is a huge issue. The man thinks he's something he isn't. And it's a reminder for us to give God the glory, to give the credit to him. It's a beautiful thing to have the mercy of God on us. And when we have that mercy and that grace and that justification and that sanctification, when we have all that, even though we have these issues and they have these struggles, he covers us in that, and he corrects us in that. And see, and this is such a great thing, and this is what people need to remember, because a lot of people say, well, why is it I become a Christian? Now I have to endure all this, whereas I didn't before. Oh, you did before. You just didn't know it came from God. But now you do this because he's treating you as his child. Before, when he did it, he was treating you as his enemy when you were an unbeliever. Now you're his child. You're in the adoption. And so now these things that he does are because of his love for our blessing. Because all things work for the good of those that love God. And so whether we are enduring issues, hospital, health, problems at home, other people, whatever it may be, in the world, all the churches in Minnesota, I feel for you, and pray the Lord shows you all mercy, because this stuff that's happened is just only going to get worse until somebody stops it. But the Lord is sovereign over all of this, no matter what it is. And no matter what happens, we're his, and we will go to be with him when the time comes for us to leave this earth, whatever that is. And if it's not, whatever suffering we endure here is for his glory, for our blessing, and will result in reward. Endure it patiently. It can be hard to do in the moment, but endure it patiently. Sometimes it's best just to, when you get frustrated, just to stop, be still, be quiet. Just know that he's the Lord. Just know that he's the Lord. And you won't be able to help. It'll be near impossible to help to not give thanks. You'll find that you won't be able to not do it. You'll have to do it, because he's worthy of that gratitude. He's worthy of that thanksgiving. And when we start to learn these things and start to realize these truths, and they starts to make more sense to us, what a blessing it is. Because then we realize that all this stuff has a purpose, and all this stuff concerning us especially will develop into some kind of reward later when we learn how to endure it, learn how to overcome these things by faith. So walk in the Spirit, believe, trust him, put your faith and trust and hopes in him for all things. And if you're enduring something like a lot of us are, just know you're not alone. And the Lord will show his glory through this, and because of this, and in this, and on the other side of this. So you will make it. The Lord will make sure you'll make it. I love you all very much. I bless you all in Jesus' name, and I'll see you in the next video.